Hello, this is Xavier again from London, and today I was actually really busy, unlike yesterday, because today I finally had classes. Uh, so today we started off. We went there at about 9:30 in the morning, and the first class we had was scene study from As You Like It, and but before we even read the scene, we worked with this guy named Andrew. He's our director. He's our director for that class, and his warm up was really different. His warm up was like we started off in a circle. We said our names and we said what we'd like to be. If whether or not we'd like to act, and then he had us stand up, and that's it. He had us like stand there for like a good 20-25 minutes, and we had to stand there, neutral position with our hands to our sides and knees bent, and he would just have us stand there and then think about like holes in like your wrists. Think of you as in like think of your wrists having holes of them, or your pelvis having holes at each side, and then you could put your thumbs into it as if they're like pockets. And it was really weird, but he would have you like focus on each part of your body until at the end you felt a little differently. Each person said, "Oh, they felt, oh, I feel close to the ground," or this part of my body feels longer." Some people actually said that. Like, they said their fingers felt longer, or like their legs felt longer. And for me, after just like it was literally just standing there. That's pretty much all it was. For me, it was I felt heavier, and nobody else. I don't think anybody else really felt that, but my feet felt heavier, and I felt like lower to the ground, and he said that's what he was going for. Like he said the before you he said you can't cook with dirty pans, which is like you can't start acting if you just brought in like an argument you just had with your mom. Like, you have to let all of that go, and you have to get connected to the earth, and that's what he was all about. And we spent a good time on that, and we did some other exercises, and then at the end, like at the very end of the class, we looked at As You Like It, and it was really simple. We looked at a monologue, and we broke it up into lines for each person, and then we had lunch, and then we had vocal exercise or vocal class with Budgie. Her name was Budgie, and hers was also really different. I guess all of them were, but hers was about. First, we did like a normal warm up. We did that. With our necks, and we released tension, and we released a lot of tension. That was the normal part. And then she drew on a board where the ribs are. She asked us how many ribs we think we have, and she drew the rib cage, and she drew the sternum, and she drew the lungs and all of that. And then she said that the breathing, it doesn't make your ribs like go outwards. It kind of makes them rock. As if when you breathe, they rock outwards and they come back in, because they're connected to your lungs by like this. I forgot what it was called, but the name was something. They're connected to your lungs, and so when you breathe, they rock outwards, and the lungs kind of connect and go with them, and then they expand. So that's kind of what that does to help you. That's what makes you breathe. And it was really focusing on that, like the ribs, and like how they expand and how they open up your lungs to help you breathe, and less about the diaphragm. I thought it was gonna be a lot about the diaphragm, because usually when people have vocal teachers are like, "Oh, get everything into your diaphragm." It's all about diaphragm. But it was more about putting breath into certain parts of your body, and really being able to do that, like putting breath in your back, or putting breath out into your ribs, wherever she would want you to put them. And I enjoyed that, because I don't learn a lot about breath. I mean, I learn about the diaphragm, but that I kind of already have that naturally. I know how to breathe into my diaphragm and speak using my diaphragm. But this was different. It was like putting your breath into different parts of your body, and learning how to do that, and learning where the breath comes from and how you breathe, and that really. And she was talking about it, just not even just for acting, like specifically for acting. It was like for everything. You can use it for, that's just to help you breathe. And also, when people get anxious, they start to like breathe like that, and that keeps you from like good breathing, obviously. So she said, instead of trying to grasp for air whenever you're anxious, to just and let everything out, and then you'll start breathing normally again. I don't know. I find it kind of interesting. I think I have a class again. I have her class again Wednesday, which is 2 days, 2 days from today. I think, but I'm not sure. But I found it interesting, and I found it as a different way of looking at breath control and learning how to breathe, and which will obviously help you with vocal projection, which is like what she was getting at, which is probably what she'll continue on with on Wednesday. And then we had basic principles class, which was exactly what it sounds, basic principles of acting. She had us really just it was really, she just had us envision a park, right? All of us in a park, and then we would walk into the park with a certain intention and objective. So she had us just walk into the park, and then everybody, she said we didn't know each other, and everybody would just kind of do their thing. You know, they'd be reading a book or on the phone or someone was walking their dog, and and then it seemed kind of like after everybody did that, they just kind of sat there and they didn't, we didn't really know what else to do next. And then the teacher, she told us, she asked us, like she asked each person, what's your objective? Why are you doing this? What are you trying to do? Why are you doing this? And then after she asked each person that, she had us do it again, and we actually like made it seemed more like a scene, even though nobody was really talking to each other, but people knew what they wanted to do when people were talking and they were active and they were, so it was really just getting down to the objective of what you wanted to do. And that's something I'm familiar with, but I love practicing it, and I enjoyed that because I like going for the objective. I don't like, even though I do it by accident, because I'm a young teenage actor, so I do this by accident. But sometimes I'll try to go for the emotion and less about the honesty. And honesty really comes from the objectives, and that's what we learned today. And it's less about um, the emotion and more about what you want and what you're trying to get. And I haven't perfected anything, so and I really haven't perfected that. So I really like practicing that, because objective is just like what acting comes down to. So it's the basic principles. So right there. So I like that class. I like doing that. I like practicing objective, because that's really like it's where the specificity comes from, and that's like how you start. So if I can learn how to be really good with objectives and be really specific, then that'll open up things, which is weird because it's ironic. Being specific will open opportunities up for you in acting, but that's what it comes down to, and I like working on that. And then we had stage combat. You can imagine how much fun that was. We practiced slapping each other and punching each other and strangling each other. Not really, but we did fake slap, punch, and strangle each other, and that was fun. And also hair pulling. They pulled my hair.